Rival fans and mainstream reaction channels love to scream about Mercy's unmatched mentality whenever he picks up another Player of the Match award. But while they yell at their microphones, they fail to look at the chalkboard. The real story isn't just that Mercy still wins, it's how his entire tactical mentality has undergone a complete, calculated evolution to survive the high-pressing demands of modern football. He didn't just stay great, he fundamentally altered how a modern playmaker functions in possession. Welcome back to the Mesh Football Network. Today, we are putting the emotional hype aside to deliver the cold, hard, tactical breakdown of how the world's most dangerous attacker re-engineered his mind to outsmart a system built to destroy him. Let's start with the literal evidence of this mental adaptation. If you look purely at physical output metrics, Mercy routinely covers the least distance of any attacking player in elite tournament football. Mainstream critics mistake this for fatigue or aging. But the data tells an entirely different story. According to positional tracking analytics, over 80% of Mercy off-ball movement occurs at a walking pace. All right, let's execute a space scan. I'm systematically mapping opposing defensive structures in real time. This is their weak point. The evidence isn't in high-speed sprints. It's in the fact that despite running less, his progressive pass reception rate in the half spaces remains in the highest percentiles globally. He isn't resting, he is downloading the opposition's defensive software. Let's break down the actual tactical mechanics of this scanning mentality. Mercy's operates predominantly in what we call the zone of maximum friction, the pocket right between the opponent's midfield line and defensive block. When his team builds out from deep, his elite positional mentality tells him to stay completely stationary on the right flank. This creates a tactical dilemma for the opposing left back. Do you step out to press an unmoving Mercy and leave space behind you, or do you stay compact? The moment the opponent shifts their gaze even 1 degree, Mercy's drops dynamically into the half space, shields the ball with a low center of gravity, and immediately executes a one-touch diagonal pass to a shifting inside forward. It is a masterclass in passive structural manipulation. To appreciate this shift, look at the historical context. 15 years ago, Mercy's mentality was defined by pure, unadulterated physical dominance, using explosive lateral cuts and high-velocity acceleration to bypass low blocks. But as modern football evolved into a game of highly automated, hyper-athletic zonal presses, players who relied solely on physical speed were entirely phased out. Mercy's transition from a touchline inside forward to a deep-lying spatial architect represents one of the greatest cerebral evolutions in the history of the sport. He traded raw physical acceleration for processing speed. This tactical evolution has ignited an absolute war in the football community. Rigid structural purists argue that accommodating a player who walks off the ball breaks a modern coach's defensive pressing architecture, forcing the rest of the midfield to cover double the defensive ground. Conversely, tactical analysts counter that the sheer offensive efficiency and structural disruption Mercy provides heavily outweighs any defensive deficit. The debate dividing fan bases is clear. Is this walk-and-scan mentality a luxury system that only specific squads can support? Or is it the ultimate blueprint for how elite technical players should extend their careers? The reaction channels will keep shouting at their screens, but here on MFN, we look at the blueprints. Now I want to hear from the tactical minds in our community. Is Mercy's modern spatial scanning model the absolute peak of footballing intelligence? Or does a non-pressing attacker ruin a modern team's defensive structure against elite sides? Drop your deep dive breakdowns in the comments. If you prefer objective tactical deconstructions over just reaction videos, subscribe to the Mesh Football Network, turn on notifications, and support the brand. This is MFN, and we out.